Hey guys, welcome to a brand new video on my channel, Makes Movies. If you are new to this channel, this is basically where I talk to you guys about my passion for movies. This goes from collections, hauls, reviews, and today's video, so let's get into it. Okay, so we're doing another review today, and today it is one that is based on a true story, and that is Last Breath. Now, I will be completely honest, the only reason why I went to go and see this is because I am trying to see more newer releases throughout the year that wouldn't normally be what I'd go and see. So it's not a superhero film, it's not a fantasy film, it's not a comedy. It's based on a true story, which I very rarely watch. And so, yeah, figured why not. And I ended up making it a double bill and ended up going to see Flow straight after that. But this is about Last Breath. So just to give you a very basic plot summary, like I said, this is based on a true story. It's about these three divers. They go down and they work on this, I think it's like a water line or water pipeline. And unfortunately, the newbie ends up getting stuck down there and ends up losing oxygen. At this point, they've then got to try and save him without the oxygen. So he's got no oxygen. He's down there on his own and he's having to deal with the fact of they got no way of getting him, not straight away. But that is a very basic plot summary. I'm not going to say what else happens. I mean, obviously I know, because it's based on a true story, a lot of people probably do know what this story is about. Also, I did hear apparently there was a documentary about this story that came out, I think it was last year or the year before. One of the people that worked at the cinema was mentioning it to a couple of people that had just come out of the screening for it. This is starring Woody Harrelson, and I'm going to try and pronounce his name, Simu Liu. He was in Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, and Cliff, I can't remember his last name. I remember the first name's Cliff. They are our three main leads, and then of course we've also got our supporting cast. So, what did I think of this film? To start off with, I hadn't even heard about this story, but then in all fairness, I am someone that doesn't really watch the news. My mum used to watch it in the mornings, but I used to just sort of like sit there and watch TV shows and things like that. I didn't really watch the news, so I didn't know anything about this story going into it. But it was actually a pretty good film. Quite a sort of like a bit of a hold your breath kind of situation, because it is called Last Breath. And just thinking about the fact that there was a diver that went through this and just seeing how he had to deal with it and seeing what the other people had to do to try and save him, and just sort of like, it did get a little bit tense, I'm not gonna lie. At certain points I did find myself getting a little bit sort of like that. I was sort of like holding my breath trying to figure out what's gonna happen next. Like I said, did not know anything about this story, so it's nice to go into something that I hadn't heard of. And I think the actors did a great job. Woody Harrelson, that was another reason why I went to go and see this film, because I do like Woody Harrelson, and I've seen plenty of his films now that I like him as an actor. I think he's really good. I think this is the only second film I've seen of Simu. I think that's how you say it. This is the only second film of his I have seen. And Cliff, I think this might be the first one of his that I've seen. I'm not really sure. But all of them did an amazing job. I think every actor did great. Is it going to be in like my top 10? Probably not, but it was still a good film. It was a good thing to watch. It was only an hour and a half, so you didn't really feel sort of like it was dragging. It did get to it quite quickly. But like I said, I don't know the full ins and outs of the story, so I don't know how much of it they went by, how much of it they added, what they did, things like that. I did get myself a little bit emotional near the end. I am not going to lie about that. But yeah, just overall, not a bad little film. I might even watch the documentary. I don't know where I can watch it. I think he mentioned Netflix. I could be wrong. I'm trying to remember what he said to them now. All I know is that there was a documentary, so I might give that a watch. And certainly recommend it if you want something to pass the time on. I mean, it's, like I said, it weren't a too long a film. I think it's like an hour and a half, hour 40, something like that. It's really not too long. And if you want something that you don't have to overthink, this is one I'd probably recommend. But like I said, it's one I would watch again and probably would add to my collection, but it's not one that I'd return to quite a lot. But I'd still recommend people to watch. But no, it was a decent film. That's all I'm going to say on that. And to be honest, this is probably going to be one of my shortest reviews ever, because there's not really much to say on it. So, but my final score for this film, what do I want to give it? I'm struggling between 6.5 and 7. I'm struggling between them two, because I did enjoy the film. I did like the fact it made me feel a bit tense. But also, when I score things, I look back at the fact of rewatchability for me. So would I go back and watch it again? I probably would watch this with my dad more than anything, because he actually heard about this film, and I think he heard about the true story. So, yeah, what am I going to go with? Well, thinking of all the movies that I've already scored 6s for this year, would I categorise it in that, or would I categorise it in 7? One minute. I decided to take a quick look at my 2025 rankings so far, and just sort of like looking at my 6s and my 7s to see where I would plonk Last Breath. And I think I'm going to go with a 6.5 out of 10. I did enjoy it. I did like it. I think it's a pretty good film. But looking at the ones that I've rated a 7 or an 8, it's sort of like I wouldn't put it up that high. But it's got a chance to grow on me. It might be one of those things that when I do watch it again, I might find myself liking it a bit more. But like I said, it is still a pretty decent film. And I'm glad I got to see it on the big screen, to be honest. It was quite fun to see something other than a superhero film for a change, or a sequel. So yeah. But no, I really hope you enjoyed this review of Last Breath. If you did, then do give it a thumbs up. And if you are new to this channel, then go ahead, hit that subscribe button and also notification bell down below to be notified when I post. And leave me your comments and thoughts on this film. Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? Had you heard of the true story? Let me know in the comments down below. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!